Welcome, guys. This is Congo Time, bringing you an audio interview with the international champion Puppey from Navi Gaming. Puppey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
At first, would you shortly summarize what Navi and you have been up to since you lifted the prestigious check? I mean, how was the return flight for you? How was the after party and your first regular days back home?
When we won the tournament, the Navi had a party in the EA Sports building with all the Russians and some of the other players also from Dota, but mostly we went there with the Russians as Moscow 5, the manager Vilat, and of course Navi and our managers. The beer was free, so we ordered like, let's say, 200 beers to our table. There's a video where you can actually see how the team arrived in Kiev, so with a Hummer limousine, as you saw.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I wasn't there because I went straight to Estonia.
You said in the NVIDIA interview shortly after the tournament that you weren't able to describe your feelings after just having won the tournament. Do you have a better time doing so by now after a few days of relaxing?
Well, if I would be in this shape right now and win the tournament, I would definitely scream louder and express my ass out. But I'm still pretty heavily tired from everything. You know, I can go to sleep and sleep 10 hours, and I still want to sleep 10 more hours, but my body doesn't let it.
Yeah, I understand.
So I've been calmly celebrating with my friends right now.
Xbox said in another interview that he gave to Navi that only half of the teams actually prepared reasonably to win this tournament, and this might have also been due to the short preparation time these teams had. And since you were so dominant, how do you value this first Dota 2 championship title? I mean, do you consider Navi the best Dota or Dota 2 team in the world right now at this point?
Well, I'll start with this, that everyone had the same preparation time. Only SGC got the game a little bit later. I myself kind of agree with Xbox, because 50% of the players did not prepare themselves well enough for this tournament. But on the other hand, this is the first tournament where all great Dota teams were invited. LGD and DK were also invited, but their drama queenery got in the way. Got way out of hand, let's say it like that. So you have a tournament with all the great teams, where the top 8 and 16 already know that they will have no chance against teams like MIM or eHome or IG, M5, Navi, or Scythe. So they give up hope and just enjoy the tournament. I do consider, though, Navi top 1 for now, but I'm more impressed at how European teams have evolved. MIM, M5, and Navi are all very strong right now, and it took only one bootcamp to get to this level. Even OK Nirvana have made great progress. So all I want to say is that Europe and China have some fighting to do.
What about the Southeast Asian teams? I was quite impressed by Myth Trust, I have to admit, and also MUFC handled themselves fairly well as Skype, by the way, when we take into account that they haven't played any serious, even online competition as of late. How would you value their performances?
I would value them as, let's say, level B. I am more impressed by Scythe and maybe a little bit of Mineski, but I'm not really impressed by the other teams. They kind of went behind in the strategies.
So, did you actually expect to have such an easy time against certain teams?
Well, I had a feeling that some teams would lose very quickly to our playstyle, since they were not prepared. But I didn't feel like the tournament was easy itself. I think all the games were pretty hard, but some of them were, of course, easy.
So the main challenge, you would say, was how you handle yourself and not how you handle the opponents?
Yeah, I would say it like that.
You have been in the Dota 2 beta for quite some time by now. How long did it take you to acquire something like a feeling for the game compared to Dota 1? Is it that different?
Well, I took about 20 games it took me to get used to the Dota 2. It's not at all different. It's actually faster and more enjoyable to play than Dota 1. If you start playing it, then you will feel it. But I did switch some little things. I completely switched my hotkey maneuvers in Dota 2. I played Dota 1 with no hotkeys, nothing whatsoever, but in Dota 2 I created 5 inventory hotkeys and switched all my spell hotkeys. But, the real test at Gamescom was to play at a wide screen.
Oh, interesting. In what way is that different? Like,
well, your whole life you've been playing without a wide screen. Most players don't play on widescreen, and then they go into Gamescom and have to play on widescreen. I was okay with it, but some players had more rough time with it.
In terms of graphics, when Dota 2 was shown first, it received obviously a lot of criticism, which may be always that way at the first time something happens. And especially the hero design in that regard. How do you like the graphics of the new game and the spell animations and stuff?
I like it. I have nothing against it. There's some of the things that you don't know if you like or do not like. If it's different, people tend to think like they don't like it, but actually different or a change can actually be better. I love 90% of the graphics and models, and I think the criticism is childish. The public does not know what they want. The first time I took a glance at Dota 2, I didn't like it also, but in 3 days I couldn't stop playing it. Because in reality, when you play the game, then you will start enjoying it. Because no game is really made for watching. They are made for playing. So first play the game, then judge.
Interesting. Do you have a favorite hero model?
I don't have a favorite hero model, but I do dislike the hero model of Doom and Storm.
When Navi played at the International, it was clearly visible that the team also shaped up in terms of physical presence. For example, I saw you a couple of times wave over through the glass over to IG, for instance, right after completed picking, and right after you defeated teams as well, you would lift your hands and scream out. How much does unleashing these emotions help a team in a tournament?
Well, Congo, I don't think the motto here is to help our presence. It's more like you have to dismorale their presence. Oh. In other words, we want them to feel like losers, so they will be scared of us and not pass the loser bracket because of the dismorale we gave them. And even if they do, they will be crippled playing against us.
But this is something that most Dota teams have never been known for. I mean, I saw you guys playing at Aces, and where both Dota and Counter-Strike were played simultaneously, and the Counter-Strike teams have always been the louder ones compared to Dota, who were at times loud when they won a team fight, but they didn't show their emotions as well as Counter-Strike teams did. Why do you think that Dota teams are the more quiet ones? Do you have an explanation?
Well, the easiest explanation is that there's more adrenaline involved in a game like Counter-Strike. In Dota, you need to be calm because, let's say, after a kill, which you obviously know that will happen, you have new things to do, like perfectly last hit this creep in 0.5 seconds. But in Counter-Strike, when you kill a guy, then you know exactly that what's going to happen next. Either they're going to back off or win a round. And in the end, in Counter-Strike, adrenaline actually helps you play better in FPS games.
Alongside MYM, you and Navi will represent Europe in a new Chinese online competition called Hayo Fang League, which has also quite a high prize pool to it. Have you taken a look into the hosting conditions yet? If so, how does it feel, and will you have trouble performing at your highest level in this competition?
I have not looked into the hosting yet, but if it will lag for us, then we most likely cannot participate in it. Same goes for MIM, but I really hope their belief in making an online tournament with the Europeans will work out.
Have you taken a look at your group yet? I mean, or have you had a personal contact with any of the admins yet? How did they approach you? And
I think they approached our managers, but I've seen the groups, and I'm okay with them. And I'm not considering anyone as a favorite right now in this tournament.
Other than that, the Dota season is by far not over for 2011. I mean, there are a lot of major LANs upcoming. Besides the ESTC in Thailand, we have ESWC, WDC, and SMM as well. Will we see Navi in those three major LANs?
We will definitely try to attend all great LANs like ESWC, WDC, and SMM. We will try.
All these events and Dota 2 also coming up I mean, the scene pretty much looks solid and seems to have solidified itself over the last couple of months. Given that the game did not see that many good times, I mean, Western esports clubs dropped their Dota teams for like Han squads and also Han being a DreamHack and Dota not. Do you feel relieved that the business seems to shape up as of late?
I am well relieved of this whole situation. I felt something like this is coming for a while now, and it's purifying knowing that all of my precision to gaming did not go to waste. You know, it's just great what's happening.
Yeah, I can understand that. And with the LAN prize money bigger, as we've just seen at the International, with the prize money increasing for other teams in that time, like SC2, LOL, or even Han, have you ever considered switching game when Dota was not in a good place or not in a place as well as now?
I've not thought of switching from Dota, but I did think of playing 2 games at the same time. I did make a team in Han when I was in GGNet with Miracle and Pycat. After 2 weeks, we played in a tournament and we beat EG, the best team in Han at that time. So also, who played with us in that time was Loda and his real-life friend called Policen. I did not keep playing it because it seemed uninteresting and heavily flawed, but I really could play 2 games at the same time. It's just a matter of will.
So there's only 1 week until the Hao Feng League starts. What will you do until then? Will you go back to training or take some time off and have a holiday, a short one?
We're going to be taking time off. We really need it.
Okay, there's one more thing I'd like to ask you before we wrap this up. You may have noticed the pick and ban statistics that several people put up, like, I'm going to link you in the chat 1 second. Like, you may have noticed the hero chart. Have you taken a look at this?
Yes, I have.
How important, or can you take any valuable information from this chart? Or I know that hero drafting is kind of a situational process, and you always want to out-counter your opponent. But when you look at this chart, is there any information in there that you and your team can use for upcoming competitive matches?
All of this information I already actually know about. The whole team knew about it, and it's like this statistics is written down by all teams. Like when they see who's playing what, and they just make the statistics. They just write it down and know everything about the enemy. So this is nothing new to me. You have to do this on LANs. You have to do this for
also,
the win.
Teams actually keep their own statistics and keep counting after each match?
Yeah. It's what you have to do for win. It's obvious.
Okay, interesting. Then I'm pretty much finished with this interview. Thanks a lot, Puppey, for joining us today. Do you have any last words to say?
Where to start? Thank you, Zero Gravity, for being there for us and creating all possibilities for us. Thank you, Gabe Newell, Valve, Ice Frog for making Dota 2 and the international tournament to happen. Thanks to all my fans and Navi's fans, and don't forget to try out the new Xi 2 mouse from sponsor SteelSeries, and thanks to our sponsors Antec, who make awesome computer cases, and Kaspersky's, the antivirus that won't let you down.
Okay, Puppey, thank you, and goodbye.